question is that the motion be agreed to. The Honourable Trevor Mallard.
Mr. Speaker, we can tell when a government is in trouble. It's when it focuses on the opposition and not on its own policies and not its own. Mr. Speaker, I want to ask the House, how many people were listening this afternoon when John Key told the House he didn't know when Merrill Lynch got into trouble? That is the Prime Minister who previously told the House that he got up every morning and looked at what was happening to the Merrill Lynch shares. That is the Prime Minister who had $40 million riding on Merrill Lynch. He knew that it collapsed in the first half of September. He knew that he made commitments about KiwiSaver in October. To pretend that the global financial crisis happened after he made his commitments is to reinvent history, and outside this House we could call him a lot of other things. Mr. Speaker, that sort of goes with a number of comments that I want to make. I hear the intellectual wing starting up down the back. Mr. Quinn's away again. The brightest man in the National Party is chipping away again.
Point of order. Paul Quinn. Order. Paul Quinn has called a point of order.
Mr. Speaker, I said nothing of the sort.
Order. Order. The member will resume his seat immediately. That is no grounds to interrupt the member speaking. Just because he disagrees with what the member is speaking, the member can take a call. But I don't want members to be interrupted in mid-flight. Honourable Trevor Mallard.
Thank you. At some risk at commenting on your Mr. Speaker. Sometimes it's better to keep your mouth shut and let people think you're a fool, Mr. Quinn, than to open it and to prove it. Mr. Speaker, let's talk about the BMWs, because what we know today is a scandal. What we know is that John Key went to a fundraiser at BMW. His office knew he went to a fundraiser at BMW. Notwithstanding that, they sat down with VIP services, with ministerial services, and agreed to an upgrade, a renewal of a contract for that going forward. And 2 days later, $50,000 went to the National Party. Mr. Speaker, if that was overseas, we'd say it was corruption. We, of course, cannot and won't make that allegation in the House. But if that happened in Australia and New South Wales, if that happened in Thailand, if that happened in India, I would have called that corruption, Mr. Speaker, and it is wrong, and there is certainly at least a perception of a conflict that the Prime Minister is responsible for. There is no one else who is responsible in this House for that. He is responsible twice. He's responsible as the Minister for Ministerial Services, and he is responsible as the Prime Minister responsible for the Cabinet Manual going to the conduct, public duty and personal interests of ministers. And in this particular case, I make no allegation of personal interest, but I say when there is a donation from a BMW dealer that was preceded by a personal visit to that dealer's office, to that dealer's rooms, what did he do? What did the Prime Minister do? He smooched up to the clients of that BMW dealer. He smoothed up to the clients of that dealer, got $50,000 for the National Party for doing it, and there was an order for BMWs all within the period of about 3 weeks. Mr. Speaker, that is outrageous. That is not the sort of thing. The New Zealand Labour Party never, ever smoothed up in that way, used taxpayers' funds, millions of dollars on BMWs and got something in the back pocket of the National Party. We would never do that because this party has ethics. I say John Key doesn't know the difference between being a CEO in business and being the Prime Minister of New Zealand. He is taking the morals and ethics of Merrill Lynch, a company that was at the dirt end of a lot of deals and went down when the global financial crisis came because they didn't have the ethics to do the proper deals. He was in the middle of that, and that's the level of ethics that he has transferred to being the Prime Minister of New Zealand. And I want to say to him that we don't believe in that sort of approach in New Zealand. We have higher standards for our Prime Ministers. We don't have extra carpet going through Premier House at the time we're cutting hours for old people. We don't have, Mr Speaker, Murray McCulley taking a jaunt, $70,000 on a plane in a way that was absolutely unnecessary while he's hurting old people.
John Biscoe.
Thank you, Mr Speaker.